Welcome back, students. From the yesterday's class, we completed the invertebrates phyla, that are non-chordates, from Porifera to Hemichordata, and now we will see the phylum Chordata. So before going into the phylum Chordata, we have to know some details. That means here, by considering which characters, we can decide a particular animal as a chordate or vertebrate. So how can you define an organism or an animal under the phylum Chordata? So mainly they are considered some basic features. If the animal is following those characters, they will be considered as chordates. So what are the main characters which are considered while deciding an animal? The first one is notochord. And the second one is nerve cord. Third one is pharyngeal gill slits. And the fourth one is post-anal tail. So mainly they will take an organism, and if the organism is having all these characters, then it is a chordate. Like that they will decide. Now we will see what is a notochord, what is a nerve cord, what are the gill slits, and what is a post-anal tail. In our textbook, they had given a basic structure of an animal. That is a typical example diagram. So that my shape is like this. So here what is there? This is one line, and above that this is one line, and below this is a one line. This is normal alimentary canal from mouth to anus. Okay, and here this is the tail. That is tail. So first one, this is nerve cord, and this is notochord, and this tube is mouth to anus. This is the alimentary canal. Not important with this. And here it is having outside, it is having a gill slits like openings. So through this it will take oxygen gases. So for respiratory function, gill slits will be there. So it will be originated near the pharynx region, oral cavity and pharynx. So that's why they are called as pharyngeal gill slits. So what is the function of notochord and what is the function of nerve cord? So this is a primitive animal which is formed earlier, that means in the embryo stage, not an adult. So what will happen during course of development, this nerve cord is developed into here the brain, and remaining that is the spinal cord. So nerve cord will be developed into brain plus spinal cord, because central nervous system is mainly formed and the components of the central nervous system is brain and spinal cord. Okay, now during development, this notochord will be developed into backbone, and it will forms around this one to protect the spinal cord, and this region it is formed as a cranium. So bone like material, so that's why this is a backbone, and inside the backbone this is the spinal cord, and here we have having the skull, and here we have brain, and for extension of the brain is nothing but spinal cord. So in future the notochord will be developed into backbone, and the nerve cord will be developed into brain and spinal cord, and thus is the tail. So these are the four basic features which are present in an animal, then it is considered as a chordate. And remaining so many characters are there. By considering those also, we will consider that animal under the phylum Chordata. So what are those other important characters means? Here I will give you, these are the main important, and the next one is obviously bilaterally symmetrical, because this is a advanced type of symmetry, bilaterally symmetry, and also triploblastic nature, 3 germinal layers, triploblastic nature, and coelom, that is a highly advanced coelom, that is enterocoelom, true coelom, enterocoelom, and organ system level of organization, and obviously closed circulatory system. So they will consider these remaining characters also. These are the 4 main characters, and obviously these characters should be there if you are considering that animal as a chordate. Okay, these are the basic features. Now we will see into what is the classification of the phylum Chordata, because so many animals again they are present in the phylum, because in the phylum we are having different subphylums, different classes, different subclasses, like that so many are there. So what are those we will see now. See here, now we will see the classification. Phylum Chordata is divided into 3 subphylums. See here, 3 subphylums. See here. So the first one is Urochordata or Tunicata. See here, Urochordata or Tunicata. And the second one is Cephalochordata. Don't confuse that. In the mollusca we are having a class that is Cephalopoda. Don't confuse between these two. This is Cephalopoda, belongs to mollusca. This is Cephalochordata, belongs to phylum Chordata. Okay, and the final one is Vertebrata. This is the classification. 3 subphylums. First one is Urochordata or Tunicata, and the second one is Cephalochordata or Vertebrata, and the third one is Vertebrata. Now we will see the further classification which is present in the subphylum Vertebrata, because these two are very simple and very less number of organisms are present in these two, but the Vertebrata is very vast, because you know that fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds, mammals, all these are present under Vertebrata, so it is somewhat vast. So this classification we should know. This phylum is divided into division. This phylum is divided into divisions. What are those? Anatha, G silent, Anatha. That means here the animals which do not have jaw, we are having the jaw, but the animals which do not have jaw, these are comes under Anatha. So lacks jaw. But here another one is Gnathostomata. That means these organisms are having jaw. Okay, that means we are also having jaw, this one. So we are also present in the Gnathostomata. Now it is divided into again superclass. So what are the superclasses present here? See here. And but the Agnatha does not have superclass, but it is only divided into one class. That is only one class. That is Cyclostomata. This is only one class which is present in the Aenantha. No superclasses are there. But in the case of Gnathostomata, it is first divided into two superclasses. First one is Pisces. That means bears, fins. And the second one is tetrapods. Tetrapods. That means they bear limbs. Bear limbs. Understanding? Pisces means fishes. What are the fins? For example, this is a fish. This is the fish. And here we are having like this. So these are fins. This is pelvic fins. These two are pectoral fins. But after fishes, we are having amphibia. They have 4 legs. They are having 4 legs. Reptiles also have 4 legs. So they are having limbs. 4 limbs and hands and legs. So they are calling tetrapods. That means they are having 4 limbs. Front to, back to. That means if in a higher animals like us, 2 hands, 2 legs. Okay. Now this is a superclass. And it is, fishes is divided into classes. What are the 2 classes here? First one is Chondrichthyes. First one is Chondrichthyes and the second one is Osteichthyes. Osteichthyes. And again, these tetrapods are also divided into classes. So what are these classes? These classes, we know that the first class is Amphibia. Amphibia. And the second one is Reptilia. Reptilia. Third one is aves or birds. And the fourth one is mammals. Fourth one is mammals. This is the classification of the phylum Chordata. Now again we will see some points here. The phylum Chordata. Still we saw phylum Porifera to phylum Hemichordata. But here now phylum Chordata. So before going into the classification, we saw what are the basis and what are the characters we should consider to decide the animal whether it is belong to Chordata or not. So what are those characters? First one is notochord and the second one is nerve cord. And the third one is pharyngeal gill slits and the fourth one is post-anal tail. Okay, and there are some minor characters also like blood circulatory system, triploblastica, organ system or level of organization, and the trucoelum, that is enterocoelum, whether they are present or not, to consider the animal to place it in the phylum Chordata. So that is the basics. Now we will see the classification of Chordata. So it is broadly classified into phylum into 3 subphylums. So what are those? Urochordata or Tunicata, Cephalochordata and Vertebrata. And that Vertebrata, again it was divided into 2 divisions. First one is Aenantha, that means the organisms which do not have the jaw. So those are Aenantha. Gnatha means jaw. Gnathostomata, that means they are having jaw. And these divisions are again divided into superclasses. What are those? Gnathostomata is divided into a superclass, that is Pisces. That means fishes which are having fins. And that fishes classification is also divided into 2 classes. Those are Chondrichthyes and Osteichthyes. So what is Chondrichthyes and what are the examples of the Chondrichthyes and what are the features present in that class Chondrichthyes, we will see. And what is Osteichthyes and what is the examples and what is the features, basic features of those organisms present in the class Osteichthyes, we will see. Like the same, the tetrapods, the superclass tetrapods is divided into different classes like Amphibia, we know frog example, reptilia, snakes, and aves, that is birds. So many birds are there, and mammals, lion, tiger, camel, human beings, all this belongs to mammals. Understand? And the Anatha is further divided into directly into class, no superclass. What is that class? Cyclostomata. Okay. Now today we will see what are the characters of the Urochordata and Cephalochordata, and later we will see the subphylum Vertebrata later on. And before that, we have to see some basic important differences between chordates and non-chordates. So here I am writing non-chordates and chordates. So for some basic differences you have to know between these two. Okay, the first character, that is, here in the case of non-chordates, notochord is absent. Notochord is absent. But here obviously notochord is present. Notochord is present. And the second one is the central nervous system, CNS, central nervous system. That is, here it is in the ventral location. It is in the ventral location, and solid and double. That means double ventral solid nerve cord. I will explain what it is. But here the central nervous system, CNS, is dorsal, hollow and single. Hollow and single. So what is a nerve cord? For example, if this is the animal, what is ventral position? For me, what is a ventral position? This side is a ventral position, and this back side is the dorsal position. See, here we are the chordates, and our nervous system is contains at the back side. So we are having the nervous system on the dorsal side, but non-chordates have on the ventral side. Okay, and what is hollow? This is the nerve cord. This nerve cord is hollow. That means it is a pipe-like structure. In the pipe it is hollow, unless until if it is somewhat filled with the fluid. So it is hollow. But here the nerve cord is solid, filled with the tissues, and double. So here this one and this one. Two nerve cords. But here only one nerve cord, that is a spinal cord. We are having only one spinal cord, and that is hollow. But it is filled with the fluid, that is cerebrospinal fluid. But here it is filling with the tissues. It is not a hollow. Okay? This is the difference. And the third difference you have to know is, here the gills are absent. Gills are absent. But here pharynx contains gills. Gills. So they are called as pharyngeal gill slits. And the heart, in the mollusca in Echinoderma we read heart is present, that is dorsal. If heart is present, it is present in the dorsal side. But in the chordates, where we have heart? In our ventral side. So here the heart is ventral. Definitely heart is present in these animals, and that too present in the ventral side. And here the post-anal tail is absent. But here the post-anal tail is present at any stage in the life cycle. For example, we are also having tail during our in the 9 months of time, but slowly it will be reduced, and still we are not having the tail. So there is one theory that theory tells that every human being will follow the life cycle of the ancestors. Okay, so in due course of this is somewhat a critical theory, somewhat difficult. We will explain in the later classes during evolution topic. Okay, so these things are present in the differences between chordates and non-chordates. Hope you understand. Now we will see what is Urochordata, what is Cephalochordata. All these details we will see in detail. Now, phylum Chordata mainly we will see Urochordata or Tunicata. This is one subphylum, and Cephalochordata is another subphylum. Cephalochordata. So we will see the different details. These two are exclusively marine. See what I am writing here is on the line means it belongs to these two. These two are belongs to marine. But in Urochordata, notochord is present only in larval tail. That means here in their development, first of all larval stages, then only adult. So this notochord is present. This is the larval stage and this is the adult stage. For example, notochord is not at all present in the adult, and in the larval stage also it is not present in the entire body. It is present only in the tail region. Okay, the notochord is present only in the larval tail. But here in the case of Cephalochordata, it extends. Notochord is present from head region to tail, and it is present throughout the life. Did you understand this point? Here in the life cycle, larval stages and adult stages. Adult stages not at all having the notochord. But that too, in the larval stages also, it is not present entire body. It is only confined to the tail region. Okay, so that is about Urochordata, and that is about Cephalochordata. What it is? The notochord is present from head to tail region in both larval forms and in the adult forms. That means from the formation of life of that organism to the death, whatever, how many stages are there, in each and every stage the notochord is present from head to tail. That is the significance of Cephalochordata, and here only in the larval stages it is confined in the Urochordata. This is the main difference, and some examples are there for Urochordata. That is Asidia, Salpa, Doliolum. These are the three different animals which are present in this phylum. And in the Cephalochordata, examples are Branchiostoma. This is also known as Amphioxus or Lancelet. So this is the name of Branchiostoma. Understand, this is the classification of the two subphylums, Urochordata and Cephalochordata. This is Asidia, Salpa, Doliolum, and this is Branchiostoma. Another two names are Amphioxus or Lancelet. Okay, In the next class onwards, we will deal especially the subphylum, that is vertebrata. So first of all, cyclostomata, then fishes. So what is cyclostomata and what are the fishes? Again, fishes are classified into two classes: Chondrichthyes and Osteichthyes. And again, amphibians. What are the characters? And again, like in the invertebrates, we had made a chart for each and every phylum. Like that, here we will prepare the chart. So what is circulatory system? What is the portal system? Renal portal system, hepatic portal system. All these systems will become. So you have to pay more attention in the vertebrate topic. Okay, so many systems are there because they are highly well developed. So here the concept of cranial nerves will come. So what are cranial nerves? They will connect the brain to each and every organ of our body. Unless otherwise, what will happen? How each and every organ is connected with the brain? How brain is able to control and coordinate all the different organs? So with the help of cranial nerves. So what are those? Each class, that is fishes, have how many cranial nerves? Amphibians have how many cranial nerves? So all these important topics we will detail we will discuss. Okay, so this is about the two subphylums, Urochordata and Cephalochordata, and I hope you have completed that notes. Whatever I asked you to do, all the invertebrate phylums in the chart, I hope you do, because it is very helpful for you only, not for me. So in exam, it will helpful in a quick revision. So make benefit of that and be prepared for the final exams. Thank you so much.